Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the GW Panther, the Tier 7 German SPG. This one's located on the westbourne of Safe Haven, and it's under the command of talon1958 of OLIMP, and it's his first submission for this week's competition. Game on! Well, as you know, Talon won last week's competition fair and square, but he gave it away to Angelina because she was still unwell, and well, that was a very nice move because after all, Angelina did try very hard to get a win, came very close, but just missed out. Well, he's back in the GW again, otherwise known as Dracula. Yes, this Arty did get that name because it has a turret which has a cape around the edge, and yes, we did actually have a version of this made up with a skin which actually did look like Dracula. It's all black with a red cape around the edge. He's searching for a target with his 15cm howitzer, but at the moment he can't find anything. No, he can't get a shot on these guys because the shed or the warehouse is actually getting in the way. Now, it's capable of doing 600 alpha with 39mm of pen, 7.2 meters on the burst radius, between 10 and 18 seconds of stun, and there's an event going on over the warehouse at this moment. And well, at this moment, yeah, there's some destruction going on. We're focusing on this Blesk out the field, rounds out. Direct hit! And that was a penetrating shot on the Blesk. The 647 kind of indicates the Blesks are very thin on armor on the side, because he managed to get that one and through the armor. The 647, which is a high roll, is going to do it again. Rounds out. Oh, the Blesk moved away, but didn't move fast enough, and he got snapped by that 15cm splash for 217, and he's out the game. So, first kill for Talon. Not the first kill in the game, though. Now, it's a Tier 8 game with Tier 7 tanks in it. And we just saw an E25. At least I think we saw an E25 or 25. Keep practicing my German. As you know, of course, I've got German heritage. Oh, look at the devastation that was caused to that building. I often said, actually, you may know that I did in the past if you've known me for long enough, I said that they ought to have buildings that were destructible. Oh! E25 goes down with a direct hit which lands right on top of him. So second kill for Talon. Yes, I actually did. I suggested back in, way back in, I think it was 2016 or even earlier than that, I suggested some improvements that Wargame could actually make to the game, and I put those forward. In fact, I actually put it in writing so everyone knew that I put it forward. One of those suggestions was, and that's Arty coming in, yes, 51 worked out where we were. And he did get a shot which splashed us of 47. We're going to have to move. One of the suggestions was weather. Yes, I know. Something that's rather controversial at the moment because it actually is damaging to the game. But that's only because of the way they've actually done it. Weather actually does make sense because most of these battles do not take place during... oh, we've been spotted. Need to get into cover quick. Behind the building, that'll do. Okay, so we're safe now. We've gone unspotted. We just need to find a place where we can fire from. It seems that somebody saw us out in the field, I think. Okay, it should be safe enough now to move to a position. That's good. Trouble is that the enemy RT is going to have a clue as to where we are. Yes, weather actually does make sense, and it would reduce the visibility of tanks, and it would actually reduce their traction so they would get slowed down under wet conditions, and that would really make a lot of sense. It would not, though, stop Arty from firing on the enemy, because Arty would still be capable of doing a lot of damage. Oh! Is that another kill? No, it wasn't. The Panther M10 was actually taken out by the Oni, but it was very close. Yes, it makes sense because, after all, our battles took place in all sorts of weather. During the Battle of the Bulge, the battle for Bastogne was in thick snow, and oh, he got the S51. He counter-batteried the guy who hit him. Seen over the far side of the map, he got located and he plonked around in and took the guy out. So that's a nice bit of revenge there. Yes, so it would make sense, but of course artillery did rely. Oh, he's got another one! While I'm rambling on, he's got another kill. That's a GW Panther who he just briefly saw, and he aimed for the top of the turret or top of the hull, and he got it. We can see destruction going on right there at this moment. There's another enemy tanker. It looked like a Canadian GW Panther. So now 4 kills for Talon. He's enjoying this one. Yes, getting back to the stories. The other thing is that the battles did take place in very bad weather. In fact, they took place in all sorts of weather. So it would make sense, but it wouldn't stop the enemy being spotted by spotters or observers who would then be able to take out. We got a shell near the Rebel Arise. He unfortunately did take out our IS-3. Still waiting for the reload. Standard reload 25.89 seconds. We've got 20.97. And the other thing, of course, I suggested was fires happening, which would then burn down buildings. And obviously, some maps did actually have fires. Things like Ruinberg used to have fires going on and in buildings. And I was suggesting that what we ought to have is the ability to have fires. Oh, that T92's got himself in a bit of a pickle. That's a 105mm round on the Rebel Arise. He is taking shots and getting shots in, and he gets the kill. And that's the last kill of the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the second-class tanker for talon1958 of OLIMP in the GW Panther. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 10. And his win rate from that one was 2,343, which is very good. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in this one because that went to the IS-3, who we saw got taken out by the Rebel Arise. He got a high caliber and a Confederate and 4,793 hit points of damage, but he did get taken out by the enemy in the end, so he wasn't there at the end. The second highest damage was the Canonian GW Panther on the enemy team. He got 3,104 hit points of damage. And the third highest was the 45 TP on the enemy team with 2,948. We can see Talon got 1,584, which means he was beaten by 4 members of the enemy team. 4 members of his own team puts him in 9th place when it comes to damage. When it comes to kills, though, he's top. He got 4 kills. 3 kills went to the T92 and the Oni. And on the enemy team, their highest was 2 kills for the Canonian GW Panther, TS-54, the P-44 Pantera, the Rebel Arise, and on our team, the IS-3, who of course got the high caliber Confederate, and the Scorpion all got 2 kills. When it came to base XP, he's in 3rd place because 1,404 went to the IS-3 with his very, very high hit points total. 1,140 went to the T92, and then 853 went to Talon in his GW Panther. So only 2 players managed to get over 1,000 base, and yes, they were the top 2 in our team. He fired only 10 rounds in that game, so getting 4 kills with 10 rounds is very, very good indeed. 5 direct hits on the enemy. 3 of those were penetrations. I'm pretty sure that one of those is the guy that he did actually, the Blesk. In fact, actually got 2 penetrating shots on that guy. The first one that went in and the second one that finished him off. He also got a penetrating shot on the E25. Must have, yes, 397. Landed on his roof and wiped him out. And he didn't penetrate the S51. That was Splash for only 2 hit points, but it was enough to kill him. And then, of course, the GW Panther. We saw the GW Panther taken out. It was only 10 hit points of damage. Again, it landed on his roof just after he'd been badly damaged and took him out. He also got, as I said, 4 splashes as well, 1,584 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He did receive 1 hit by way of splash from the S51, so it was nice taking revenge on him. 5 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, 3 stuns, or 3 hit points of stuns caused by 3 stuns. On a premium count, he actually earned 64,851 credits profit from that one, but he did get a 50,000 mission completion bonus, and he got 2,559 experience points out of it as well. The battle didn't last very long, only 7 minutes 27. I didn't get a chance to finish all of the points that I was actually making, but one of the things I did actually suggest, apart from the weather, because of course weather does occur in the on the console version, but the other one was to actually be able to set fire to buildings or knock buildings down so that you could actually then shoot through them. And of course they have put that into the game in these special events when things actually happening on the map and you see buildings knocked down. So it is possible for wargaming to engineer that. Another thing that I suggested was smoke. The tanks would have the ability to lay down smoke from smoke canisters on the outside of their vehicles, in which case it would only be a one-off thing that you'd actually pop smoke to conceal yourself in a moment when you actually suddenly got discovered. You could pop the smoke to conceal yourself, but the smoke would disappear after about 30 seconds, and then of course you'd be vulnerable again. So you got 30 seconds to get yourself into cover, or you will be going down with the next, the moment the smoke disappears. The other one would be that tanks that actually do get set alight, and of course virtually every tank in the game blows up, will be that these tanks that get set alight or are set on fire would actually continue to burn and produce smoke which drifts across the battlefield and makes it more difficult for your team, for your enemy to spot you, concealing their own tanks. Another thing I suggested was that they would actually have white phosphorus shells, or at least shells that were capable of producing artificial smoke, and would then conceal your own tanks as they carried out an advance. So an Arty sitting at the back, the team could request, can you lay down smoke ahead of our advance? And they would actually do that. And you can do that in certain special events in the game. In fact, they've actually put it, or the first time it appeared was in Frontline, but it's since appeared in other games as well, where you actually have the ability to lay down artificial smoke, which stays there for a short while, then drifts away, and then you're exposed again. And again, that should be in the game. It should be, but it's not. And there was another suggestion I actually said as well, that you could lay down fires which would burn away the trees and the bushes. So if you put incendiary shells in, so you could actually set fire to the scenery and then see as the enemy tanks get exposed, or that the enemy tanks get burned up because they sit in the foliage and the foliage is set alight and they can't get out in time and they burn up as a result. All of this is possible. Wargaming could put this in. Another thing I suggested was mines, that you could lay down a landscape of mines, but again, you would only have a limited amount of time to do it. You'd actually have a small troop of men who could actually get wiped out if there was artillery fire on them, who would actually lay down the mines in a pattern to protect your own guys, or even to ensure that any enemy advance walks straight into a trap and gets wiped out. All of these suggestions are possible and could be put into the game fairly easily. But the best one, I thought it was the best one, I still think it's the best one, is of course the ability to turn any tank destroyer into an artificial self-propelled gun. That is that if you gave an M10 or a Jackson or any vehicle that can actually fire indirect, if you gave them the ability to fire indirect, that is to access the artillery mode so they could use battle assistant and they could shoot over the entire range of the map. That means that you get something like an Su-76, a tiny little tank destroyer, being able to fire on enemy tanks right on the other side of the battlefield, not actually by sight, but by using a battle assistant. And this is something that other players have said, yeah, that's possible. That could be done. Because after all, for quite a while, a lot of top players were playing a round of golf on the battlefield. They would take out their M10s and they would lob shells at the enemy using an artillery shell, but they would lob shells at the enemy instead of actually firing directly on them. And in fact, a few players still do this. In fact, you can take out a Covenanter, a light tank, and use the artillery piece on it, not the standard gun. And therefore, you're literally firing shells right up into the sky, which are landing down almost vertically on the enemy. In fact, that's something I'm going to suggest to Steve Walsh when he holds the Ramaganza, which is taking place this weekend. So, yes, please do join the Ramaganza. There are prizes, and it should be a lot of fun. It's going on for quite a few hours. So, yes, you could drop in during the day. They'll have various guests appearing, like Skill and Control and other players who, and even I think the Amazing Epic guys are going to be there. But certainly, if you appear, you might actually get a prize. You might get something out of it. Certainly be worthwhile. And I'm giving away 4 of those Make Arty Great Again caps. So if you join the stream on Twitch TV, then of course you have a chance to get one of those caps for yourself. Hope you enjoyed this replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.